Here to talk to us about what will be expected at that community meeting and informational session is one of the participants in that, Chief Michael Patton from the West Bloomfield Township Police Department. Chief Patton, thanks for being with us today.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Fine, thanks.
Yeah, and so this is a really important topic because a large sum of our population, not only in West Bloomfield Township proper, but across our 4 communities, are of elder age. They're senior citizens, and that makes them a prime target, especially in a very technological age, for scams. And so tell us what this conference, what this panel is really all about as we head into it next week and learn more about scam prevention.
Well, this presentation will be on Friday, August 30th at the West Bloomfield Parks Connect facility at 14 Mile and Haggerty. And it's being hosted by our Parks and Rec Department. But the sponsor of it is our state representative, Noah Arbit, from the 20th District here, who's been very active in the district, grew up here, and also is very passionate about doing everything good and well here in West Bloomfield. But one of the other primary hosts will also be our state attorney general, Dana Nessel, who's really a leader in the state here of putting out information and resources for everybody, but also seniors, about how to prevent and minimize their risk for scams and frauds. And I encourage everybody, really, Tyler, to actually go on to the Attorney General's website. And she has a wealth of information on there about how to minimize and prevent frauds from happening. And there's really something new that pops up almost every day. And she's very a good leader about putting out the contemporary risks in those. Now, there's always a lot of common themes in these risks. People trying to get information out of you, get sensitive information, healthcare information, medical records numbers, social security numbers, and other things, so that they can eventually perpetuate a fraud upon you in some way, shape, or form. And so I think one of the main talking issues of concern for everybody, but particularly for seniors, is that really they keep up on this and that they have a skepticism if someone contacts them and starts asking them for information.
Yeah, because gone are the days where these scam attempts were relatively simple. It was a phone call that seemed innocent and well-intentioned that maybe your grandparents were answering and they gave out some information, and then months later would learn the hard way that their information had been compromised. Maybe they lost some money or they had some erroneous bills, or they get something in the mail. But today there's so much technology out there, and our seniors are active in using these technologies too. What are some of the more common ways we're seeing these scams be perpetuated in our community, particularly toward our seniors in these modern times?
Well, first off, there's always the very technical kind of scams where you'll get an email that may look very official, or maybe something you had expressed an interest in earlier. And all they want you to do is eventually click on a link or open up at something else within that email, and it may allow them to gather information off your computer. Or they'll ask you a simple question to provide information, and that'll be the information that they need to further a fraud or a scam. And those are always cautionary tales. So you really want to be skeptical about what you get in an email, and don't click on a link, and don't share information. And again, some of these frauds they're very deceptive. They look very legitimate. It could be something that looks like it's coming from your bank, or looks like it could be coming from a person you've been in communication with before, but it's not. And it's the cautionary tale that you should have some skepticism before you open something. The other type of frauds are the ones that you already referenced, that ones have been historical, where they call up and they get someone's attention, or maybe evoke some emotion that a relative is in jail or they need some money, and they'll get them to go to the bank and withdraw some money and send them something. And again, those things are always frauds. Again, if a relative's in jail, there's ways to check on that, or check with other family members. So not going to the bank. I've always been very happy over the years when I see people make interventions in these kind of incidents where a person, often a senior, will go to a bank and withdraw money to send to somebody. And an attentive teller or someone will ask them, "Why are you doing this?" And they'll start telling the story of what the story they've been told. And really, it stops those frauds from being perpetuated. But they're not always successful. And we've seen people give up and surrender significant amounts of money on what they think is the right thing to help somebody. And it's not. It's a fraud, and they're being defrauded. And though we take a very good, strong effort to investigate those crimes, they're difficult times. And really, a person who's perpetuating these kind of crimes all they have to do, they could call 100 people, and all they have to do is be right once, and it's probably a good day in the office for.
Yeah, really all it takes is one incident for that information to be stolen from somebody in our community, that information to be out there in our community, and ultimately for people to be affected by scams in a number of different ways that can last them for a number of years also as they're trying to deal with the aftermath of these issues. Joining us on the Splash Live, Chief Michael Patton of the West Bloomfield Police Department. He will be participating as well as other local leaders, including Attorney General Dana Nessel, State Representative Noah Arbit, Oakland County Commissioner Marsha Gershenson, and Ageways Representative Stephanie Hall at a town hall meeting about this at West Bloomfield Parks Connect next week, Friday, August 30th at 12 noon. That's on 14 Mile Road in West Bloomfield. RSVP on wbparks.org, or you can call them at 248-451-1900 for more information. And you mentioned earlier on, Chief Patton, that this is being ran mostly by our local elected leaders who organized this particular meeting with West Bloomfield Parks. And so how does law enforcement and then our local leadership in government, our state representatives, our state senators, our attorney general, how do you work in partnership to help to ultimately prevent these legislatively or by putting other regulations in place that help everyday citizens right here in Greater West Bloomfield?
Well, there's already a plethora of laws that apply to this. So, law enforcement very often were regrettably, unfortunately, responsive after an incident or a crime has been committed, and we try and seek justice to identify the alleged perpetrators and then initiate them into a criminal justice system. We also try to, but we also participate in programs like on August 30th event where it's informative, where we can prevent these kind of crimes through information sharing and awareness, and reminding people that there's a lot of people out there every day that may want to try to defraud you and take money away from you, and we need you to be aware of these kind of frauds and be skeptical sometimes when someone reaches out to you for personal information. There's a lot of information out there, Tyler, and we always encourage people to do this or have their family members help them with you. I already mentioned that the Attorney General's website is a wealth of information. You look on the Ageways website, there are strong advocates for information and advocacy for seniors, and can help out with things on Meals on Wheels and direct home care services and advocacy and transportation assistance. There's services for seniors there. I would also recommend to people that they look on the website of our Oakland County Clerk and Register of Deeds, Lisa Brown. She's a strong advocate for fraud protection regards to property records. You can sign up for what's called her Property Records Notification Program. And this is a program that you'll enter. It's very simple to sign up. I've already done it, where you can list your home address there, and you will get an email alert if someone puts a false or malicious lien on your property. Now, it wouldn't prevent that from being happened, but you'll get a timely email alert that somebody has put a lien on your property so that you can make a timely response to it, and not later, years later, when you look to transfer the property.
And that time can be huge in preventing these issues from growing and becoming massive problems in our lives, and especially those of our seniors here in the Greater West Bloomfield community. We know these scams are not uncommon to seniors across all communities across the U.S. In fact, Fortune putting out an article recently. Elderly Americans are losing $28 billion a year to scams, and some are fighting back as well on that with different methods, including these informational sessions that will be like what will be happening at West Bloomfield Parks Connect coming up next week. Chief, what do you hope that people from the community that attend this ultimately get out of this? What opportunity will they have beyond just hearing from our leaders to get their questions answered?
Well, I think it's always great. Again, Representative Arbit and Attorney General Nessel, they grew up in this area. This is their hometown at one point, and so they're very passionate about helping us out in West Bloomfield on everything. Look, hopefully it'll be informative. It'll help elevate awareness on these issues, particularly for our seniors. It'll also provide them with some resources that if they have any questions or concerns, who and where they can reach out for help. And that's primarily what we want them to do. Look, I'm a seasoned citizen too. We have had a lot of life experiences, but even the best of us sometimes can be lured down a dark path where something seems inviting or enticing or interesting, and But our life experiences would generally protect us, and all we're trying to provide is additional information and resources so they can reach out to us if when they need us.
That information, those resources will be available next week, August 30th. That's a Friday at 12 noon at West Bloomfield Park's Connect Senior Center on 14 Mile Road in West Bloomfield. Chief Patton, thank you so much for your time and your insight.
Thank you for inviting me this morning.